what does it mean to be an American? And I'm going to just kind of refer to viewers as Americans. I know that you're not all Americans. Majority wise, we are. And please, I'm just going to go into this saying that I'm not trying to not include you. America needs some focus right now. And it just so happens to be where I live. And so we're going to talk about American patriotism. But I do believe that this sermon will be beneficial for everyone, no matter where you live, because I think that there are similar themes going on in lots of different countries, but in slightly different ways. So do keep that in mind if you're not American. I believe, okay, here's what's really going on. The United States of America was created from a group of radicalized, entitled white men who were exploitative of people who weren't like them, while simultaneously acting like they weren't. And this is the deep spell that America is founded on. And Diva sort of gave me these words, these beautiful words to describe exactly what's going on here, which, I saw, but Diva really voiced this in a good way, and I'm grateful to her for that. So this country was founded on values of freedom, liberty, and justice for all, verbally. But action-wise, it was not. Land was stolen. Native Americans were killed and displaced. Slaves were brought in. This is a mess. The entire formulation of this country is imperialism. And the fact that my family are recent immigrants to the United States. I do not actually have lineage in the United States this far back. My grandparents on one side, my great-grandparents on another side were immigrants. So I wouldn't be here if it weren't for those immigrants, okay? And then other than that, and just because I'm not connected directly in my lineage doesn't mean I don't benefit directly from the oppressive systems in place, because the oppressive systems in place put people who look like me in a place of privilege. So part of me is distant from this experience, but part of me needs to take accountability for the fact that I am benefiting directly. Maybe I didn't cause it, but I am benefiting directly. So that's my role as a white person to acknowledge. The fact that this country was founded on stealing land that wasn't even owned, like, not only was it stolen from Native Americans, but the Native Americans had enough honor and respect not to even own the land because they understood that it was for everyone. And so the energy and it was just really toxic, really toxic thing that happened. And the fact that we now are in a state of disallowing immigrants and disallowing people to come here and putting people in cages for trying. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I have actually a spouse from another country, and we tried to successfully complete legal immigration. And the truth was that even as a married couple from two white industrial nations, it was extremely expensive, extremely difficult, impossible without a lawyer. And to become a legal citizen of this country is not like, oh, I'm just gonna like fill out a form. Like, people who are illegal are not just like lazy. Like, oh, I don't want to fill out this form. No, it's like 35 forms and they each cost $600. And you just have to keep going. And you never know when you're going to get approved. Sometimes it can take 20 years or more to get approved to come into the country. And so when you have this idea of these illegals, you have to recognize the fact that it is near impossible to do it legally. And if people want to come to this country, we have to ask ourselves why at this point. Okay, so the fact is that we are living on stolen land. And this is not all going to be a bummer. So please, I know that this is hard stuff to process and hard stuff to listen to and hard stuff to heal. And maybe you already know this. We're going to talk about the positives. We're going to talk about what I believe we can do for this country. I am a solutions-based thinker. Look around your world and ask yourself, who is a solutions-based thinker? Who is literally providing solutions? There are very few of us. Please honor people who are bringing solutions, because we can talk negativity until we die and nothing will happen except negativity. It needs to be acknowledged, and then we can move on into solutions-based thinking. So please bear with me while we talk about why I think the things I think and why I believe we can move forward in the way I believe we can move forward. The United States is this black magic spell. It's a black magic spell of deception because it was founded with oppression while preaching liberty. And for our entire history, propaganda about freedom has been promoted incessantly into the global psyche so that people believe that people in America are free. And since this country is founded on a black magic spell of not true freedom, what's the word? Infractions on our freedom are gone undetected. It's like when I posted that UFO video the other day and everyone's like, it's a plane. And it's like, just because you see planes all the time in the sky doesn't mean that everything in the sky is a plane. Just because we say Americans are free, 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 all that means is it's a narrative brainwash. What does true freedom mean to you? And this is what I'm going to talk about, because I am a patriot in the sense that I believe in the truth. I believe in the healing power of this deceptive black magic spell, and I believe in the power that we have to evoke the true understanding of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. We have to take those concepts, and instead of just parading them around and not having them mean anything, we need to burn it up, dismantle everything, and analyze what ways we can actually align ourselves to these true-hearted conceptual frameworks. That is the way we can heal America. And it's not going to happen any other way. The way we start is by looking into our internal way of being. Your reality is reality. How do you master your own internal understanding of these concepts? How do you understand true freedom? What does true freedom mean to you? To me, true freedom means doing my heart's work. It means living a polyamorous lifestyle where I'm not indebted to anyone and I can do what I want when I want, with accountability, of course. Freedom to me means speaking my mind being allowed to reach an audience, not being silenced or censored. Freedom to me means being allowed to believe what I want so long as it doesn't harm anyone. Freedom means dressing how I want. Freedom means not fitting into societal narratives such as gender. Freedom to me means access to the things that make me happy, to things that nourish me as a person. Freedom is safety. Freedom is support without being constricted by that support. What is justice? What does justice mean to you? To me, justice means that we see all sides of every argument, that we use data, the data we have access to understand all sides of something. I heard a story yesterday of a young man who was caught stealing a candy bar, and then he was raped by the police officers. And then he attacked a police officer a few years later for good reason. Obviously, this person has been psychologically damaged, and they put him in juvenile prison until he was in his 20s. And he exited that system not even knowing how to read. That is not justice by any stretch of the imagination. And that's what our justice system does regularly. We have to acknowledge that this is happening in different ways to different groups of people. Freedom to me is tied in with justice. None of us are free until all of us are free. None can thrive while any other suffers. We are being held back by the majority of suffering. So we have to let go of these ideas that we have of just some people doing well and other people deserving punishment. When you start to look at your own self and you say, what is justice for me? What is freedom for me? What is truth? What is liberty? Question these things in your own reality. Ask yourself, what would make you feel truly free? What would make you feel truly like justice was being served in the highest understanding? Maybe you don't have the answers, and that's okay. Just think about it, okay? It is a confusing time for the 4th of July. This is a situation that is hard to untangle because of the propaganda that has been put forth. What is propaganda? Well, propaganda in part is the fact that we have fractionalized masses right now. So we have people who are in support of, let's just split it down this way, people who are in support of Trump and people who aren't. And these two demographics are getting different internet feeds. The content that each of us is seeing is different. I saw an article today and it said, somebody made a statue of the First Lady and people weren't impressed. Do you see how that's written? People weren't impressed. This is nothing to be excited about. This is a form of propaganda. On the other hand, you can see something like beautiful statue of the First Lady stands tall for all to admire. That would be another version of an article that would be shown to people who are in support of Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's not. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about two categories of people who are being shown different information, who are being led down two different conceptual thought paths, who are being divided, and I say divide, you say and conquer, right? This might not be a conquering of our physical bodies, even though in many ways our physical bodies serve the system. We go to work every day. Some of us are imprisoned. People have debt. There's all kinds of things. There's the medical system, the pharmaceutical system. Our bodies are implied. They're implicit. Okay, what can we do? Well, Unicole, what can we do? I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. America's Sweetheart is a project to unify the masses. America's Sweetheart uses all sides to create a deeper understanding of what's really happening. I just want to talk a little bit more about propaganda. This book by Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays was Hitler, the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Okay. And he created this idea of what propaganda means and why we should use it. And in this book, they basically say that propaganda, okay, so there's basically hang on, I'm going to try to explain this. This is what the book says. Basically, everyone is dumb, uneducated, focused on different things. Every citizen of America cannot be, or whatever, every citizen of a country cannot be expected to understand every level of policy. And so it is up to the educated masses, the educated elite, to create a system to deliver information simply and effectively to these simple people who can't begin to understand the complexities of politics. Kind of coming from an okay place, on one hand, right? He says, so we are the elite. We're the educated elite. We know what's best for the world. Duh. We know what's best for the world. So we're just going to create simple to understand thought forms and media for the masses so that they will believe that they're making up their own mind, but they're actually doing what we want. Noam Chomsky had a great example of this to further explain what this is. Noam Chomsky, in one of his books, says that the idea, the slogan, and think about it this way, the slogan. This is a branding campaign. The slogan, support our troops, distracted during 9/11, distracted the attention from policy into this kind of ambiguous, unanimous agreement that we should go to war. Because you can't go against support our troops. When someone says support our troops, you have to say, oh, yeah, of course, support our troops. Of course I support our troops. And that is a brainwash, propaganda, displacement of attention and of energy from policy. So before, everyone would be like, I don't think we should be going to war over oil. And then the government was like, support our troops. And everyone's like, well, yeah, support our troops. And then people stop talking about the policy. That is an effective form of propaganda. This happens all of the time. The idea that we say freedom isn't free is a brainwash. That's like saying abundance isn't abundant. We're going through this on every level in our culture. Freedom is free. You cannot say that freedom is not free. You cannot say that abundance is not abundant. We're taking these pure concepts and we're putting them into boxes in our culture. So as an individual, you get to decide where your compassion lies. You get to decide where your cynicism starts you on your journey. Because we have the steps on the path to joy. We have cynicism turning into hopefulness. And that's really where we're still at. We don't even need to focus on the rest right now. We need to turn our cynicism into hopefulness. Please, I beg of you, to become a solutions-based thinker. Focus on solutions. See the problem, understand the problem in so much as you can create a solution. When you create a conceptual solution, just even trying to think of a potential solution for these problems, you're doing harmonious, important work. We need the focus of attention to be on every individual's well-being. We need the focus to be on solutions. The rebranding as social media is the most successful deception since the Department of War became the Department of Defense. Snowden said that. Yeah. Yes. What does it mean to heal America? What does it mean to heal this country from the oppression, from the deception, from the black magic spell that it was founded on? Is it possible? I believe it is. I don't believe it's possible to maintain the political system the way it is. I don't think the political system is advantageous to the public. I don't believe the political system is advantageous to the masses. I don't think the political system is advantageous to the earth. I don't think the political system is advantageous to the global community. I believe we need a complete dismantling of our government personally. You don't have to agree with that. I want you to make up your own mind about these things. What does it mean for this country? How would it look if it truly embodied the ideals that it was supposedly founded on? How can it be healed? How can we unify these split groups of dualistic thinking? How do we take the two sides? Who in your family is a Trump supporter? Are you a Trump supporter? Who in your family isn't? How do you have a discussion about unity, about harmony? How do you have a discussion about love and compassion? What are the fundamental principles that you can all agree on? Find that out, and then we can move forward. Unity, unity, unity. Unity. Together, we stand. I don't know. Is that a propaganda? You have to think about all these things and you have to make up your own mind. So I'm excited to share with you my album, America's Sweetheart. It's not going to be out right away. It's going to be a little while. Right now, I will share with you a music video that I did. It's not really a video. It's a little bit of a video. It's a simple music video. A song that I released called Space Alien in the USA. Please feel free to listen to it and download it on bandcamp.com. Brainwasher on Bandcamp. And thank you all for joining me so much for Cam Church. It was my honor and my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for your support. Shop on Unicult Supply Co. and enjoy this song. Body